Okay, Sarah. So tell us a little bit about your path to purpose experience.
Yes. So I feel like the universe knew I was going to join this program. I didn't know, but I've been, following your teachings for a while. And when you finally got me in, I didn't even know fully what all I was getting into, but I was so excited and I knew that it was very right for me to be there. And I also thought when I was coming in that I was going to find like the job that would fix kind of all my problems and take away, any of my past pain or anything like that. Like it would be the answer to everything. And I actually found myself. So through Path to Purpose, I connected back to myself, created more self love, created space for myself to listen to my higher self, and everything that I learned. Sure, it informs my career, but it's so much bigger than that. It's how, I bring my purpose on this earth to life and connecting with people around me and integrating that into every aspect of my life and who I am. So it was a very healing journey and one full of connection, and just my soul was meant to be in it at this time in my life.
What were you feeling before? Like, why did you decide to join?
I was feeling a bit lost before I joined. I feel like this event happened in my life kind of to make me join Path to Purpose, but I turned down a job offer that on paper made no sense for me to turn down. Like everything about the job was pretty perfect. It really didn't make sense, although my intuition was like kind of screaming at me not to take the job because there was something else that I was supposed to be doing. But when you turn down something that seems logical and great and like would solve a lot of my problems, it makes you question like, hey, why did I do that? And I didn't have the tools to really understand it. So I knew that you would help me find the tools to do that, and I was right. Yeah, it was probably the first time I've really listened to my intuition loudly, and I think that brought me to the program itself.
How do you feel now?
I feel a lot different. It's truly like growth accelerated times a million. Like so many shifts that honestly, I don't know if I'm going to explain this well, but I feel like I can see my internal shifts playing out in every area of my life, from, friendships to relationships with my family, to how I relate to my work, to how I want to like design my own life. Kind of everything is just affected by how I personally have changed. I'm listening to myself more. I might not always love what my higher self has to say, but I hear it very clearly and can follow it. And a lot of things that maybe used to trigger me or bother me or, upset me don't anymore. And I feel like I when I used to go externally for things, I actually just come home to myself now, which I didn't used to do. I used to like text 20 friends for advice about something that I already knew the answer to. And then when the answers came back, I would do what I wanted to do anyway. So yeah, I'm a lot more different. I feel more confident in my abilities and like what I bring, and just, I don't know, more centered in who I am as a person.
Who would you recommend this program to? What kinds of people are at what stages in their life?
It's a great question. Honestly, I could see anyone really getting something out of it because it's so tailored to just who you are individually. But I feel like anyone who feels like, I don't know, I felt called to do it personally. I think that's probably the strongest group of people I'd recommend it to. Like if you feel like, you're living your life and everything looks pretty good, but you don't feel good, like you feel unsettled, you feel like this is it, like this is all I have, or like I should be happier with this, then you're being called for something more. And I'd recommend this to you to figure out what that more is. Or conversely, if you're feeling completely lost and you feel lost and you're not happy in any way, it's also a great way to like find yourself. So really anyone but those two groups, I'd say, would benefit the most immediately.
I love it. Okay, tell us a little bit about one of the interesting things about this program, actually. I don't know if you know this, is for most people, it's like one of the biggest investments they've made in themselves. Can you talk a little bit about like what that was like and actually making the investment, the financial investment and the time investment and all of that?
Yes. So I am historically a bit of a money hoarder. So I'm talking like a ton in my savings, but I act like I don't have any money, which is weird. Not weird, but unsupportive. Working on that right now. But obviously this is literally the most I've ever spent on myself. Like I think even like trips I've taken, like have not even like been that much. And I don't know, I just was very like, I totally looked at it as like, okay, yeah, like this person should absolutely do that. That's awesome. That's so cool. But then when it came to me, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And I think it came down to this belief that like I wasn't ready to invest in myself like at that level. And I wasn't ready to like kind of communicate to myself like you're worth it. And let's see where this goes, right? Without, you know, such intense expectations about where it would take me. So when I did it, I was kind of like, what's happened? But immediately after, I felt really good. Like I was like, oh, I spent this money and like nothing happened. And it just came back into my bank account. Like it really was like, it's not something I'm sitting here thinking about like, oh, I wish I had like spent that. I'm like the first week I felt like I kind of recouped the investment. I was like, oh, I'm already getting so much out of this. And then yeah, as far as time, I've always been big into like my own inner work journey or just like spending time with myself and reflecting. I'm a very reflective person, but this like took it up a notch. So I definitely, you know, carved out time throughout the week to work on it. And when things came up, I, you know, dealt with them. But it just, each time I did do Path to Purpose work, it just brought me that much closer to myself and just made me want to keep progressing through it with every lesson.
Hmm. Any just final thoughts that you want to share on the program or on your experience?
It was amazing, and I'd highly recommend, like, if you're listening to this and you feel like, you know, I'm saying something that strikes a chord in you, I'd encourage you to investigate it further. I think this program is for like for really for everyone. There were so many of us in my cohort that, you know, had different experiences and like different goals, but we're all connected by the same thread of living through our purpose, and that made it so special. And it's just a really beautiful container to grow in with other people. You don't have to do it alone. So, yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Emily is the best teacher and guide. Highly recommend. It was great.
Love you so much. Thanks, Sarah.
Of course.